Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm dear darling. As you can see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where I'm vibing, I guess. I don't really have much to say, to be perfectly honest. I didn't really have much of idea what to talk about really in this episode, and I haven't really recorded anything today because I was just like, I don't really feel like it. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. You know, sometimes you just like you wake up. No, you're not really. You wake up. It's perhaps a bit too early, and you gets around to the time I usually record things. I'm like, do I feel like recording anything? And I was like, nah. I don't. So here we are. I've just sort of been vibing. I watched a bit of Cracking the Cryptic because they're a fun YouTube channel. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 4:38 PM on Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. I almost forgot. Oh, we have shooting stars tonight. So that could mean we have a Celeste visiting if I record to actually go on later at night to see if we get Celeste visiting or not. It's not actually that important that we do the wishing upon shooting stars anymore, because with the advent of a shooting star island, we can get whatever shooting stars fragments we wish all year round, so it's not really all that big a deal, I would say. Biscuit, hi, Alex sending postcard to friends. Should I write more? Maybe next time. Biscuit, is that a new one? That might be a bit of a new one. Partaking group stretching, so we indeed got something else. We do have just enough actually, do we have enough Let's Space? We have Crazy Red visiting, I just noticed, which is particularly good. Apollo, have you sent us making? I'm pretty sure we've had this one before. Emilia, what about this one? Exquisite Bug. Probably you got us. Sent us that one before. At least I'm pretty sure Vivian has. Yeah. So what was I gonna say? Watched a bit of Cracking the Cryptic. Watched. It's festival season coming soon. I was like, why do we get these new decorations coming up? Just watching some new YouTubers. There's this new Japanese YouTuber I actually subscribe to. So hold on, I don't know his name, but I can't even remember where I discovered him from. I think it might have been actually from the one of the few times I actually was recommended a video on my home screen by YouTube, and I was like, hey, this actually looks interesting, and it was I can't remember which one was the first one I clicked on, but one of the ones I was watching. Sorry, hold on. Let me actually find out what this YouTuber is called, and there's no point talking about it if I'm not even gonna find out who they are called. Naoki Saito Illustration Channel. There you go. That's who he's called. He's a Japanese Japanese that's not word. A Japanese illustrator is what I meant to say. Which I guess if you want to combine them together to make some sort of portmanteau where it's Japanator, which sounds strange. It sounds a bit like Terminator, I suppose. No. Oh no, you're ill, Pecan. Let us go get you some medicine. He does a lot of illustration stuff, and he does things which talk about like things to do during illustrations, colouring, shading, etc., which obviously I have an interest in, so I'm learning about. Of course, my style is not super, it's like mildly anime inspired, but not like that heavily, I suppose. Mainly just eyes I sort of draw tend to be a bit more anime inspired, but the rest of it tends to be different. But I don't exactly know what that je ne sais quoi exactly is that makes things in a different style or whatever. But he has a lot of interesting videos. But actually, one of the coolest videos he's had is these like Genshin. I can't speak today. Maybe that's why I didn't want to record an episode today. These Genshin Impact videos, but I think he's done them for other media properties as well. But Genshin Impact was the only one I recognised when he did it. But basically, he took short descriptions of some characters from a game or whatever media property he's doing from Twitter, I suppose. Well, I don't really know how he particularly sources them, but he gets them, and then he basically creates a character based on the description and the idea he gets around it. Of course, he I guess is quite used to the anime style of like character creation and drawing that has been going on in Genshin. So he actually got pretty close in a lot of the characters, and I'm not gonna lie. And he said he's seen some Genshin artwork stuff about, but of course he doesn't know which characters which, so he doesn't, and probably didn't really keep it much into memory. But he talks about it in the first episode where he's just like, oh, I've seen some artwork about, and I know a very definitive thing that they have going on is they have a lot of detail stuff on the clothing. I can't remember. And the great thing about these videos is probably the most important part is the fact they've all been captioned in English. They've all been translated and subtitled in English. I don't know whether by him or he's got like a team or something like that, or some just like a really passionate fan base who often translates his videos. But it's awesome. My Japanese is okay at a conversational level, I would say. I can understand a basic conversation, but of course when it comes to his technical stuff like this, I don't really understand what he's talking about, things get kind of lost in translation. That's a wait. Ooh, that might be a legitimate left one. Oh, hold on. Are these both legitimate? This might be a legitimate this one as well. Hold on. Hold your horses. New Horizons art. I'm actually going to check because I'm not entirely sure. This might be two legitimate ones which we need both of. So I might need to rope someone in to buy this. So, okay, this one's definitely legitimate. That's a bit rude, Red. Just sneezing on me. So we know that one's legitimate. What about the wild painting? The forge painting is dark. Okay, so that's a fake one. So, okay, only this one's legitimate. But this is actually one of the ones we need. Painters, no, Hunters of the Snow. So thank you very much, Red. I'll gladly take this one. And that is another one we can cross nicely off of our list. I don't have the list open, so I suppose we'll have to do it tomorrow. When I actually remember... If I actually remember to have a notepad open. Don't have a notepad open because I wasn't recording any videos earlier today. But yeah, all those videos are translated into English. And it got me thinking about videos, of course, being translated for other languages. Because obviously, you know, from a Western... Well, actually, I'm not even sure if I have that Western viewpoint because, you know, I'm Chinese after all. So I am sort of having... I have awareness of obviously other countries using the internet and their own sort of like spheres that they operate in, and the websites that are very frequent. But I think it's very easy for perhaps some people to not realise it, but not really think about it all that often, being like, oh yeah, of course there's going to be like a whole community of Japanese speakers who are on YouTube or whatever doing whatever, and then they've got their own community, just, you know, they speak Japanese, and then of course it's very isolated from the English speaking community because, you know, language barrier, that sort of thing. I mean, the same with like any sort of community. I'm sure there's like huge Spanish community or something, which I'm not sure. I think it's a lot of South American countries or something doing it, because there's like a really big population on Twitch or something. A dumbbell? Who gave me a dumbbell? I have no idea. We already know a pair rug. A robust statue. I don't remember what we... Oh, we have this one, I'm pretty sure. And I think it's really awesome when whether official translators, I suppose, or fan translators have ended up translating this content to allow other people to, I suppose, enjoy it as well, you know? It's awesome because, like, obviously I play... the only games I play in other languages tend to be Japanese games, and I have a rudimentary understanding of Japanese, but a lot of the content creators when it comes to these sort of games tend to be Japanese players. For example, Shiny Colors has a very popular YouTuber called, I think he's called like ISATGP or something, but his stuff isn't translated on Japanese, and I have a basic understanding. I can kind of get the gist of what's going on when I watch a video, but obviously I'm not that well informed about the entire thing in the first place, so it's kind of like a bit iffy. But if the entire thing was translated into English as well, that'd be really cool. But obviously that's kind of like easier said than done, you know. Translating is no easy job. Being completely fluent in two different languages is not even like, it's like the minimum requirement to be able to translate, but, you know, there's a lot of nuance in being able to translate things back and forth, you know, being able to capture meaning and context and that sort of thing, and understanding about the situation that unfolds. And especially for doing it live, like, don't live, like, I can't remember what you watched the video about it, some like live translators train for huge amounts of years because it's incredibly difficult and demanding to live translate things. So it's a very, very respectable job. Well, I mean, I hope I wasn't insinuating it wasn't a respectable job, but it's crazy challenging and difficult. And you might ask, hey, would you be any good at translator? No, not really. my Chinese and Japanese, and I don't think I have a level where I'd be able to translate things particularly well. I can translate things to get the gist of things, but I can't translate them to, I think, really capture exactly what's going on, which is, you know, kind of the important part when it comes to translations. But I suppose if you're doing fan translations or things like that, there's not really, if you're like not doing it for your job, you're just doing it for like your for certain communities, whatever, probably not too big of a deal, I suppose, in the first place. But yeah, I don't really know where I was going with this. Yeah, it's just a fun YouTube channel to be watching. I'm watching his videos when I can, trying to sort of absorb the information that's being given, so I can sort of understand things better, you know, hopefully improve my drawing skills and that sort of thing. And, you know, there's a lot of helpful tips which I'm trying to incorporate, I suppose, into what I'm, you know, drawing right now. Didn't really incorporate it into the dev stall, probably not, I'll be honest, but because, you know, especially when it comes to like any sort of hobby thing, you know, I suppose I'm guilty of doing this as well, but I sort of parrot just being like, you know, the most important thing is you just draw, but you just draw in the first place, like you actually partake in your hobby in the first place, one, safely, depending on what your hobby is, but you know, there's not much risk, I suppose, when it comes to drawing, except for maybe carpal tunnel. But it's a lot more difficult just being like, okay, exactly, but how do I draw, you know, because I'm at the stage where I'm just like, I'm okay at drawing, let's say, you know, you see my drawings and you'd be like, hey, you know, this person can sort of draw, and I'm like, yeah, I can sort of draw, but of course I haven't been officially trained, I haven't gone to like art school or anything, I didn't even take any art subjects during my schooling time, so now it's the sort of thing of being like, I'm trying to learn how to draw, but you know, I'm trying to also learn how to draw, but also in the way that I want to, it's a huge like spectrum out there, exactly how you can do things, which makes it a little bit more complicated, I suppose. When you might think, and sometimes, you know, perhaps the resources you need, if you have a particularly niche interest or whatever, maybe the resources will only be available in other languages because it has a larger community in a different language and perhaps the language that you speak. So I don't really know if I have an overarching point or anything. I guess what I'm trying to say is you can only gain, I suppose, by being able to connect more communities like this, don't you think? So I guess the long and short of it is I don't know who's translating his videos, but I'm very thankful they are. It's very nice to get that sort of insight, I suppose, into these sort of things. And especially that they get a different sort of feel when, you know, videos made in West. Like, I don't know what other sort of artists, YouTubers do I like to follow. Like, BAM Animations is a fantastic one, which I really like. They're very, very high quality editing, that sort of thing. But they don't really upload all that often, which is fair enough. You know, they're busy. I believe they're full-time animators or artists or something. So, you know, it kind of makes sense that I'm not exactly going to always have time to make those sort of videos. It's certainly no easy task, just churning out videos like that. But you know, well, you can, if you by subscribing to a large community of these sort of things, you can always have something to watch. You get to be a little bit more pick and choose. You get to see someone be like, do I want to partake in it, and do I want to watch this one? Do I think this is going to be relevant to me? Is this something I have time to watch, or is this something I'm interested in? And you go like, yeah. And you go no. Like often I say I watch Drawfee, and Drawfee is very nice, and don't get me wrong, but they're much more conversational, sort of casual, and sort of watching more for entertainment rather than necessarily educational purposes. But not to say that I don't learn things on entertainment. It's not like when you partake in anything entertaining that your brain is meant to be switched off completely and you have nothing to take from it. Of course I learn things from it, I learn techniques from it, but it's not exactly, I suppose, and I know they have like teaching streams and that sort of thing, but the teaching streams of it, they're not quite my sort of style, I suppose. They're very much more casual and relaxed, which is not actually my best sort of learning environment, I think, strangely enough. I tend to like much more regimented styles, which is perhaps, you might argue, why I did very reasonably well in school. I don't really know where I was going with this. But yeah, having these translated videos is very interesting, because like, I know it's a rather common thing for a lot of, not like a very common thing, I only heard about it because I think Mr. Beast was one, the YouTuber who did it. I'm not really an expert Mr. Beast, I don't really know how, I've only seen like one of his videos, but he has like a channel or something where he's got all his videos like dubbed over in Spanish or something to obviously appeal to the Spanish community and, you know, get a broader outreach to the audience that's incorporated in his community and that sort of thing. And I think that's pretty cool, you know. I think that'd be like a very admirable thing if, and I mean, I suppose that happens all the time when, you know, a video game comes to mind, especially, but any sort of like media project gets created, and then it turns out, oh, there's suddenly like a very big community in a different country. And then, you know, the people who are behind it, or developers, start being like, okay, let's start not adapting it for that country, but, you know, being more mindful about that community which wants to be involved in that sort of thing, and being like, just basically as like a shout out. Because that happened with Skullgirls, I believe. I believe it was like a rather popular fighting game in Japan or something, strangely. Oh, maybe not strangely, it just was or something. So they released like Japanese language support or something, which is, I'd imagine, not the most common language support, but anyway, that happened on like Undertale as well, I think. Don't quote me on this because I'm not the developers behind it, so I don't really know for sure. But I'm sure we sort of like niche isn't it? It's always strange how when what becomes popular in like different cultures and communities, isn't it? You know, I always think about it because, you know, I suppose an obvious example there's like anime, which, you know, were created in Japan and that sort of thing, which become wildly popular in the West, but perhaps were not so known in Japan, or not nearly as well liked, I guess. I think Ghost Stories is a one that people always talk about because they had an absolutely crazy English dub, which I have watched, and utterly bonkers is probably what I say. Not necessarily age appropriate depending on how old you are, so just be warned before you go searching it up. Which I think it was like, I mean, it's not like I don't think it flopped in Japan. I think the ongoing story that people often say is it like flopped, but it's like it's not it flopped. It just like did meh. But then did pretty well in the West, or at least from what the sensation, not sensation, the understanding I get from it is pretty well known, I suppose, in the West, which is, you know, interesting. I just think just to see how things get popular, I suppose, in different communities and areas, don't you think? Don't you think? It's a little too ironic. Anyway, it's like Great Ain on your wedding day, a free ride when you've already paid, and I don't really have much else to say, except for his videos are pretty good. You know, I forgot what else I was going to say about it. Yeah, no, it was just the thing that I was thinking about, because I was watching the Genshin ones that I think are very cool about creating a character. And at first I was like, I can't believe he's getting so close. This is unbelievable. How's he getting so close? But then it's like, you know, I don't actually know. He might have a video introducing himself or whatever. But I assume he's like a professional illustrator, that sort of thing. He's seen like character design. He's done probably like hundreds and thousands of character designs himself. He knows what goes into character design, especially ones which are much more prominent in Asian, that sort of thing. He knows what goes into the thought process behind it, so he can sort of reverse engineer things from what's going on behind it. Like, so some of them get crazily close, and some of them I actually like his designs quite a lot. Like, I can't remember which episode. I think first episode he drew Tartaglia or Child or Ajax or whatever else you might know him by. I really like his design, I'll be honest, compared to one of the game. Not to say that I dislike one of the game. I also like one in the game, but his design is really cool. It's certainly got similar sort of energies, but it's like different side, you know, red shifted or blue shifted in some sort of way, which makes it feel a little bit. I don't know what. Je ne sais quoi, as I always say. Something about it is just a little bit different, which makes me go, you know, I quite like this. I'm not sure if we've actually hit the bell rock in ages when we've been harvesting these rock Nuclear mission farmings. And it was basically just like, you know, obviously, you know, watching the video, I'm just like, oh, it was really cool to see this, but from like a grander perspective, I was like, man, you know, if his videos weren't translated into English, I would have skipped right by him, because, you know, as much as I've learned Japanese for a couple of years or something, I'm not that fluent in Japanese. It's still going to be difficult for me to totally appreciate and consume exactly what it's saying, especially when he's talking with technical jargon, as they say. It's going to be even harder to learn. Like, I remember back in secondary school, this translator came into our school to talk about their work about translating. It must have been like a languages week or something we were doing. That was the thing we had. And the thing that stuck with me was he was like, even if I am, you know, like pretty fluent in, like, I can't remember what you spoke in, like Spanish or something, whatever, you know, it's still technical. I'm still in like the business side of things, and still technical words and vocabulary I had to learn on the fly. Like, he was doing this thing for like I can't remember, some car company, whatever, and he, you know, obviously didn't know like or had to say any of the car parts or any of the car technical terms in Spanish or that sort of thing. But, you know, he just had to sort of like learn it on the fly. While he was doing it, he just like went beforehand. He spoke to like one of the professionals, being like, how do I say this? How do I say this? How do I say this? Or what's it called? What's it called? He just learned it on the fly, you know, and it stuck with me. Not necessarily because it's particularly a fascinating story. I suppose it's an okay story, but it's like, you know, even translating technical jargon about something, you need very specific knowledge, I suppose, in that sort of aspect. You need to be a translator who is both knowledgeable in that aspect of whatever you're talking about, hopefully, or at least reasonably knowledgeable, and also fluent in the language at the same time. That's a difficult overlap, you know. And that results in a lot of things being rather niche, I'd imagine. A lot of things just like being left untranslated, just because, you know, who's going to translate it if there's no sort of overlapping niche there? And it's a little bit weird to think about, but it's not. I guess it's not all that weird to think about. This is kind of like a numbers game. That's kind of how it should work, if anything, I suppose. It'd be a bit strange if it didn't work out in that direction, but still. I don't really know where I was going with this, I'll be perfectly honest, but we're here to give Pecan a fossil, an all-wrapped fossil, and I think we'll go around and we'll identify some fossils, not only so we can sell some of them to get the Nookman mission, but also so we have some more presents prepared to give to Pecan a different day as well, as we slowly win her over. by flooding her inventory with archaeological dig site items. Probably not the smoothest way to say that, but whatever. Yeah. But it also makes me think, I was like, I wonder how many other like awesome like creators and content that I would really love to watch, but I just miss out on because, you know, I don't speak the language, you know. There's a whole world out there which I'm not privy to. Apologies, just a little bit of a pause there. What was I talking about? What am I doing? Oh, I was getting fossils. I don't know why I remember that. We got a recipe for today, and we actually found someone who was ill, so we've actually got no reason to walk into other people's houses. Oh, I was talking about like people who content creators, I suppose, in different countries. I suppose. Well, maybe not different countries. Who speak not non-English content creators. Is that probably non-English speaking content creators? Probably the best way to put it. But speaking a language I don't understand about something, yeah, there must be like a whole wealth of people out there. You know, I'm just like, oh, you know, I'd really enjoy watching their videos, but unfortunately, I don't speak like, I don't know, Hindi or something, which is a real shame, you know. Because you know, well, I think one of the most underrated superpowers, I suppose, is being omnilingual. You know, for practical purposes, I suppose, in everyday sort of life. It's probably one of the best superpowers to have, to go like to be like an undercover, I suppose, superhero. Being able to understand any language, or I suppose more interestingly, I suppose if you want to make it more of a superpower, any sort of communication, but understanding every language in the first place is pretty wild, I'd say, in the first place. I wonder how it like extends to like codes. If someone makes up like a secret code, you'd be able to like intercept it and understand it fluently. I don't know, I really never given that much thought. But anyway, that's not really the point. But yeah, that would just be like a whole different set of media you can consume and enjoy. I mean, I suppose people are, you know, I suppose people are more aware of it nowadays, and certainly they used to be. Especially with things, popular media properties, I suppose, coming to light from different countries, and people like understanding it, coming into the mainstream, I suppose. You know, South Korea, of course, getting huge cultural boons in the West, or like, you know, Squid Game, Parasite, probably other stuff. I don't really know. I don't really watch much South Korean stuff. I mean, K-pop, I guess. Things like that, people are just, you know, just being like, oh yeah, you know, look at all the things that we could potentially be missing out on from other countries and whatnot. At least that's kind of the way I feel about it. Maybe it's like a sort of sense of FOMO, but no, I don't know. FOMO is perhaps a bit too strong way to put it, because it's sort of like FOMO, but like an understandable way. Like, there's no way I would even be able to participate in this sort of thing in the first place. So it's not really something I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I'm missing out on it because I didn't really get the opportunity in the first place. But it'd be like, oh, you know, if there's like some sort of other parallel dimension where I could get that opportunity, it would be cool too. So I just wanted to have a quick glance in the art wing of a museum just to see which one. It really sucks that these three are like three of the ones we're missing, because you just walk in immediately and be like, oh, you know, you're missing stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that one's the Hunters in the Snow. So 4. I think we're on 6 missing, if I recall. But I just want to have a quick look just to see, just to check. See, it might 5. Okay, so only 5. My word, I feel like it's been an alarming pace in the past like month or so that haven't we gotten like 3 paintings, 3 art pieces that we've needed in the past month, after like the previous months it had been like a huge drought or something, it felt like. But yeah, I don't know, and I suppose it also doubles as a helpful thing if you are learning the language. You can now take it as an opportunity to be like, hey, you know, I can now like have a way to sort of like practice my Japanese and practice my understanding of it. I will say, when you have the actual subtitles there, unless you're particularly focusing on listening to the Japanese and then trying to like understand and retranslate it in your mind, it doesn't really help your Japanese all that much. It just sort of, it helps it in the sense that you listen to the language so you can like pass things better, but it doesn't help in the sense of like your understanding, I suppose, which is, you know, unless you start concentrating on it, which is, you know, probably what you should do if you're actually trying to learn it in that sort of sense. So, you know, it's not a substitute, is basically what I'm going, obviously in some very sort of roundabout way. Oh, we should have got a damselfly. We've seen a couple of damselflies about. Blue marlin is just not going to happen, I'll tell you that much right now. We might be able to wander around a bit and try and find a damselfly. I'm not sure. I feel like I want to get some fruits and sell them, because I'm not sure these coconuts will be quite enough to hit that 5,000 mark we need to hit when we're selling things. So we'll go into the orchard here. pick some of these fruits, which we never really seem to do, and be sure to sell them. Is there not a peach here? There's no peach here. Oh, okay, fair enough. I don't know why we have 2 apple trees here. One of them should definitely be replaced with a different type of tree, I'm going to be honest. Like, there should definitely be an orange tree. No, maybe it shouldn't. I don't really know. I don't know why there are 2 apple trees right next to each other. Maybe what probably happened is that wasn't originally a tree. Why do we have 2 cherry trees right next to each other? I don't know. Apparently I'm not very good at sort of distributing them out. That's probably enough fruits that we will get what we want. I do want to see if I can look for a damselfly to catch and sell very quickly before we head into Nooks. We're normally about by the river, I believe, so it shouldn't technically take too long just to sort of hunt it about. Is it me or is this purple look very different? But yeah, hopefully I can put, you know, learn the stuff I'm learning on the illustration stuff to improve my artwork and become even better. Of course, as a sort of personal goal of mine. It's not like a New Year's resolution or anything. I suppose already 2 years ago my New Year's resolution was to... Actually, no. I guess it was more of a last year resolution was to improve my drawing. I guess the year before that was to record videos? No, wait, maybe I'm getting it mixed up. I don't know. The time dilation gets kind of weird during lockdown and that sort of thing, I suppose. So, we are going to sell this stuff. We are going to buy some stuff as well, just to make sure we are on top of things. We can sell this. The other 2 will keep around. We're selling that one because that one probably is not actually worth all that much, because it's one of those small fossils, but it should be about 5,000. It is very much so. And we will buy some. We'll buy some stuff. Well, we need to buy some wrapping paper, and we'll buy some customization kits because we're slowly running out. And then there's probably not really much more else for us to do in today's episode. So yeah, I don't know. If you're someone who speaks another language and you particularly consume content of another creator, a non-English speaker, let me know. You know, in the comments. You know, who are they? Why do you like them? That sort of thing. What sort of things do they cover? Might not necessarily mean that I'm going to watch them, and because it might not necessarily mean that I particularly jive with their sort of style of YouTube video. Apparently we need to buy some more customization kits, but I suppose I have a sort of latent curiosity about it in the first place. So this was about 3,600 plus, give or take 1,000. Okay, so we need to just buy 1 more of these. That should be enough. Yeah, I have a sort of latent curiosity about this sort of thing. You know, what makes them interesting? What out there am I missing out on? Oh yeah, there's also this other like Korean YouTuber who has stuff translated in English. They do like these animations. You've probably seen them. They've done like a PlayStation advert. I don't know if it's an official advert, but a Flash Speed one. They do. I can't remember what the army series they have is called. It's called like Recruitment Day or no, that doesn't sound right. New Recruit or something like that. If you search them like funny Korean cartoons, probably not gonna get them. Why don't I search them for you and then I can tell you their name once I find them. Flash Speed is probably there. We'll probably get it up. Okay, so it's in Korean, so it makes it quite difficult. If I translate it, it's Jang Pizu. So I guess that. But if you search Flash Speed with a PH instead of an F, you'll get it. But there's some very nice stuff as well, you know. And I never discover them if our videos were not translated into English. But anyway, I guess I'll kind of round up this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join my Dear Darling Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.